Fancy. What is up? What is up? Welcome into Husker Hangover, everybody. I am Matt Vrzal. Thank you for joining us due to, thankfully, car issues, not mine. Cam had some car issues this morning, so I had to run over here to the beautiful studios here at Hurrdat Sports to get to you guys this morning. Unfortunately, our beloved Nebraska Cornhuskers go down in defeat to the Fighting Illini of Illinois, who all of you huge-brained football fans in the offseason told me that would be an easy game. They were not going to be able to sustain that. And some of you asked why I looked at you like you were crazy. And that right there, 26-9, is why I looked at you like you were crazy. Overall view of the game, it wasn't something that I didn't expect it to be that way, but I think one of the things you saw in that game was guys trying to do too much, okay? There's a beauty and a simplicity in a ball out of bounds. When you realize the gig is up, you've been had, the coverage that they're in worked better than the play you had called. Casey Thompson on the day had 7 completions, 172 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Timing of interceptions is huge. You had that timing spot where they returned one down to the 11. Nebraska had the lead and the ball. Which was a huge momentum swing, huge opportunity in that spot. The throw wasn't, it was a dead red. There was something that got missed there because he was sitting right in the passing lane, able to make the pick and return it down to, it was like the Nebraska 11. But yeah, that game, I'll be honest, that game got me. Like that game, I wasn't quite sure. I just wanted to see how they would respond. They now you see the difference in ultimate confidence, right? What Bielema has done at Illinois, and FSU Mike is up early this morning. He said Bielema would kill it here. I don't think Bielema's going anywhere. I think he knows he is about to build Wisconsin Junior and then probably surpass Wisconsin if his heart can take it. My guy is big. He is beefy. But he can coach in football. Like, he coaches it well. He does just like what he does. The guy knows what he is. He knows what he can turn his players into, and he knows how to accomplish all of that. That seems like something every coach should be able to do. That is not something every coach can do. It is absolutely 100% not what they can do. No word of a lie. When you saw, who hit that? We had a hit out of bounds. And they pinned the Nebraska kid on the sideline. I think it was actually the son of an old teammate of ours. I think it was Geski's kid. And the Nebraska kid was trying to get back to safety. And 64 was like, no, you're going to stay over here and you're going to hear a couple things. You're going to hear a few words about this, and you're going to be a little bit fearful if you're going to get out of here. Little things to the layman like that don't matter. I was surprised he didn't get punched. I really was. But Bielema has them believe. That's a 2-year rebuild. 1 year, 2 year. It did not take long to do. It was not, as he's shown, that hard to do. The big things that stuck out to me: athleticism in the lines. Like, their line looked far more athletic than anything our line could produce. Um, Discipline. They were supposed to be in an area. I mean, you can take this to offense and or defense. They were supposed to be in an area. They were in that area when the area had to be taken. They knew where Nebraska wanted to go before Nebraska knew where they wanted to go. Scouting was real good. The part with vanilla is vanilla has to evolve. Vanilla has to get more complex. You have to add some sprinkles. You have to add some chocolate to it. You have to spice that vanilla up because you're playing at a very high level. The first play that Illinois scored on, that was 100% game plan by design. They said, if we get into this and we give them this action at the snap, we will slide this guy out the back door. He will be open by himself, and we will score a touchdown. And they did. Nebraska answered the bell and was able to take a lead 9-6, which I said, okay, maybe they can mask everything that Illinois is better than them at. Maybe they can pull that off. Then the interception happened. Oh, really could have done without that one. Because you get up 17-6. Now you make Illinois do something they don't want to do. You make Illinois go a different direction than they want to be in. My computer does not, or my phone does not really like me being over here at Hurrdat Media. It's asking me, is this you? Has your beat to shit full of flour phone been stolen? Nope, we're good. We are good over here. Then it takes me through all these prompts like, hey, do you want to do this? No, I don't. I don't want to do that. I do not want to do that. In it though, and the reason I have to ponder a lot on this is because it solidifies things that I really truly believe in. When you have the utmost confidence and belief. Now, the situation you inherit in Illinois, different. All right, Bielema goes in there and has a bunch of kids that have been told they're shitty. They've been told they're not going to be good. They've been told, hey, you ain't very good. You're just going to be a little whipping boy in the Big Ten, and that's what it's going to be. And you're going to raise up, every now and then you're going to get somebody. And you have a guy walks in with some cachet and some swag, and he just says, no. We ain't about that life. You can live that life. If you want to live that life, the door is right there. Walk out that door. Never come back in here. Because we can't have guys that have that mindset. We got to have guys in here that want to go, want to win, want to be dominant, want to make Illinois into a power in this conference. And most of all, this is not about me. This is about you. This is about you wanting to do this. This is about you putting in the work to do it. All I'm doing is giving you the plays to execute to get in that direction. That's it. That's all I'm doing. And when you hit those chords right, just like a great song, you hit the chords right, everything sounds beautiful. And then you start to play together and you watch it evolve. And now you're the number 17 team in the country. I don't know when the last time Illinois has been ranked 17 in the country. I don't really care. But they are and we're not. And they were able then to control the game the rest of the way. If you want a destination or a vision that you should be headed to, that should be it. Because the turnaround does not have to take 5 years, 6 years, when it's done correctly. If you get something that does not jibe with the kids or does not move them in the proper direction, now you're going to be taking a little longer. And that's how that is. Unable to overcome the thing. Now, The scariest. Whoa. David just wrote a novel. David, I will. Here's how the show will have to lay out today because I'm over here around 8:45, probably closer to 9. We're going to take a short break because I'm going to have to tell my wonderful staff of Paisans what to do because they are going to show up, not see my car, and I hope they just stay. I hope they don't leave and go home like, hey, you mailed it in for the day. We are too. So we're going to take a break at that time. I do have a message out to everyone's beloved Tommy Frazier. Tommy hopefully will be joining us about 9 o'clock. Jay Foreman also has an invite because I think he got mad at me last week when we had multiple people on. He had multiple. He's like, man, it's too many people. It's me and you and Damon. Like, it ain't like we got a whole gaggle of people. It's just us three. So we're going to do that. I'll have to handle some business stuff. But then other than that, we're just going to be wide to glide. Keep the questions coming. I'm trying to dig back through here because some people sent me some stuff yesterday and I have no idea where that all went. But we will get to those. All right. So Chris has a question here. It says, who left the program in a worse spot, Riley or Frost, and why? That's a tough one. To me, I think worst spot is I'm thank you for that phrasing because now I can spin that how I want to. I would say Riley. I would say Riley because I think as I tried to say when Scott got hired, nobody fully comprehended what the situation was or what they were in and how it was going to be when he got there. UCF, he inherited a guy that was way over the top discipline. So he came in, had his way he wanted to discipline, but was cool younger coach, and away we go. Our fourth receiver's better than your fourth cover. Away we go. Hey Chin, I don't care if you give up 42. We're about to score 47. That's how we're going to win here. I don't think what it evolved into was as bad as he inherited. He did leave it mildly better than he found it. The things, though, and I have no qualm or anything who you pattern your shot after or your program, but go after that Bielema model. I had a bunch of kids that, truth be told, not a lot of people wanted. You talk about utmost trust in your staff. Read an article. Bielema just said, he's like, hey, man, I went out and recruited. Because I told my guys in the off week, you get them ready for Nebraska. You do this. You get ready for Nebraska. I got to get ready for Illinois. I got to you make our team better. I'll make us better. And he did. Everybody's got any parents, their kids that are recruits by him. I'd love to hear a story of that, how that all went down. But I bet in the living room, I bet he's awesome. I bet he is fantastic in the living room. He probably brings his own 12-pack. Yeah. Hey, that's probably one of the recruiting qualifications. Hey, does your dad drink beer? Nope. Okay. Nice knowing you. Wish you all the best luck somewhere else. Because you got to be able to have a couple pops with the head coach. I partially kid on that. I think partially true. Were some highlights of the game. Brewington had his longest reception of his career. Reimers led the team in tackles. Good to see him back out flying around. Vokalek scored a touchdown, tightrope down the sidelines, and again a huge piece that I think Nebraska needs to use more of the tight end game. 21 for Illinois. Was able to do pretty much what he wanted to do. As far as secondary coverage, tackling, everything went. People are texting me like, where are you? How are we going to see your staff walking in when we're doing the show? We're not doing that today, Tess. We had to. Cam Broham had some car issues, so we're over here at the wonderful studios. Johnny KV says, GBR son still came up. Maureen says, who can play instead of 54? Maureen, honestly, they may not have anybody because at this point in time in the exercise, there shouldn't be much more debate. There shouldn't be, and people have taken the PAT play, point after touchdown that Nebraska got blocked. That, as I watched that, if you have it, it's floating around Twitter, and fans put it out there because they have access to film and you can see things. It's taught. I understand it. It's taught. Take inside gap, put your hand down, make them hurdle over you. Blah 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 blah. It's a very literal definition of what you're supposed to do. So watching that, it helped me understand a few things. This is a literal player. Okay. He's going to be here. You block him there. That's how this goes. All right. Then you go on to him like, Coach, he ain't there. He moved. I didn't know what to do. Okay. Now here's what you do. You come stand by me. I'm going to put somebody else in. And it's got to be free flow. Now there are players that have that. There are players that play that way. I played with players that play that way. We jokingly kid quite a few times about we joke with Dr. Rob Zaska and his huge brain that he's just a robot. He literally probably tell guys during the game, hey, you're not supposed to be there. You should line up there. I'm going to block you. But that's how those things go. It is time. You've been given more than a big enough sample size. I don't care who goes in. I don't. Just somebody, anybody. John says everyone apparently hated Martinez at the end because all he did was turn the ball over. Frost brought in a QB. He had 10 interceptions in 8 games. I guess Palmer fixes things for people. I hope Amart gets healthy. K-State kind of throw a whooping on Okie State, which helps my K-State over 9 bet that I made at the beginning of the year. I think for the first time in probably what Mickey Joseph has done as he's taken over at Nebraska, you saw a guy trying to do too much. We will laugh and poo-poo at, I was kicking field goals and punting. Okay. I take that into an offensive sense. There's a beauty in 4 yards. There really is. But we're all so obsessed with, I made this sweet catch, and then I did a spin-orama, and the guy missed me, and I went 60 yards. Okay, there is your problem. Quarterbacking, it's like, oh, man, I rolled out. It was covered. I displayed my awesome hose, and I just spun it right in there and caught it first down. Okay, there ain't but 10 people in the world that can do that. So get that out of your brain right now. When your team is going, a ball thrown out of bounds, a ball thrown at someone's feet is valuable because you still have possession of that. It's still yours to try to matriculate down the field. When you try to make a throw that isn't there, or the play has broken down, and I'd never done it in my life, but you have about 3 seconds to figure all that out. You're going to be scrambling around. You're going to be doing things, and you pull the trigger. Sometimes that can't happen. Now, I do not fault anything play calling wise because you can hardly run for those 4 yards. Anthony Grant, God bless him, trying to get extra yards, strip, fumble. But the frustration of it I mean, you can't get a handoff. You got somebody in your kitchen. Um, you have people on you before you really know anything is happening. The part of that pisses me off is where you are. Like the prior era is over. That page has turned. Okay, you've had 2 off weeks and however many games. I'm not. This makes me mad. You had 2 off weeks and this many games to figure it out. Right? There are things you can do in that. You are a young human being. You have plenty of energy. They have you on regimented diet. They have you on this. They have you on that. You can go and assess your game and say, man, we are struggling. Like we are literally driving the struggle bus. We are. We can't do this anymore. We People laugh and they're cliche. Closed door meeting, just offensive line guys. Just you guys. Go have an FU match. Do it. And if somebody wants to throw hands, maybe you got to throw hands. Maybe that's what you got to do. But you got to find some dogs. I mean, you got to find some dogs. You're a month plus of this now. So that scares me because it tells me you think you're doing well or you don't want to change anything up. You want to do anything different. I had a bad day. Had a bad day. I don't think Illinois is that much over talented of Nebraska or more talented, over talented. There you go. More talented than Nebraska. But this is pride in your craft. Like this is how you want to operate. This is how you want to do this. That's you and I would have just loved to seen somebody come off the field and just lose it. Scream, cuss. Enough is enough. We're not doing this anymore. I know they're expensive, but break a helmet, slam it on the ground. Be upset, be pissed. Grant should have went over and yelled at him. No one is above an ass chewing. No one. But you have to get those things fixed. Like it's eliminate former Husker and eliminate offensive linemen and that eliminate that shit. This is a you thing. Like if you can't if that's good enough for you, if that's good enough for you, get out. It's not. It's not acceptable. It's just not. You have to have pride in what you do. I don't give a shit about athleticism. I really don't. Because if I'm not athletic, okay, and I want to go in there and I want to be that guy, I can grind. I can grind and I can take thousands and thousands of steps to where I'm never beat. I'm never beat on a twist. I'm never beat on a stunt. I'm never beat on anything. I can do that outside of practice. I can make those things happen because I can control that. I don't want to have film of me getting my ass whooped anymore. I don't want that. And then you know what? If these other ones don't want to come with me, I'm gonna find 5 that do. Okay? Find 5 that do. Hopefully 6, maybe 7, or the entire room would be a novel concept where we are tired of this as a group. And then we go outwork people. Oh, but then they're gonna be tired of the game. No, you're not. You're not. It's not true. There were guys that would go just work and they would grind and they would do extra and they would get better because they wanted to be great. Like I said, if that's good enough for you, then don't play. Just don't. But go want to be the best. Like go want to make yourself better and go want to. And I don't want to look at the camera because my eyes go crazy and people get scared. This is not acceptable in any way, shape, or form. And you can't You can't do this. Like, it just does not work. It is not the way it goes. It is not the expectation. You are all better than that. I believe that. But you have to go in and do more than you're doing because what you're doing isn't working. Okay. They can limit what you practice with your coach. They can do that. They can't limit what you do by yourself. They can't limit what you do and you go grab the rest of the guys and we're going to do this. We are not going to suck anymore. That's what we're going to do. We're doing it together. All 28 of you, however many there are, whatever. But that's pride in your craft. That's pride in just not letting your team down. Because if you can't line up and you can't smash mouth and you can't run for 3.5, 3 1/3 yards of play and get it to 4th down and 1, which is fine, and go for it and run a sneak and get it, wrong business. You're in the wrong business. 3 1/2 yards. Roughly this table. One play from here to here. That's it. 3 times in a row. That's all you got to do. Because you got a running back that can do it. And he'd love to do it. He can't trust you to do it. That's your problem. Fix it. That's it. There's your offensive line discussion for the day. Now, the next set, backup quarterback spot. We got to get something fixed there quick. Because when the season started, we heard the rumble that Chuba was Whipple's guy and Thompson was Frost's guy. Chuba got some work to do. Like Chuba got some work to do. If anybody's religious, do a couple of them things. Man, I mean that. Oof. David, I will read your novel when we take a break, and then I'll probably comment on that. Don't be sorry about your gut reaction, David. Never do that. Of course, it probably doesn't matter, but the overall scheme. But if you put 8 at quarterback, shouldn't you pair him with a similar style running back like 14? You should probably go names with me on that one. I think 14 is Ramir. As I said, but I don't know if it matters who you put in. I really don't. You got block. Logan, when Logan comes in, I think he has the potential to ease some strain. He has potentially ease some strain on the offensive line because of his threat to be like a third running back or second running back, whoever you have in the game. So I don't mind him in at all. I don't know the rotation. I just know that kid was in the mix when Adrian was here, and then the new staff came in, and he's out of the mix, and now he's got to be back in it. Like if I'm going to cheer for somebody, it's number 8 to win the starting job this week because I think he creates a dynamic. I would always have just a short bailout for him though. So if you want to truly get into running some zone read, which I think would help your offensive linemen, maybe trying to get them lateral. Somebody could explain to them, keep your base wide, keep your feet moving. That'd be awesome too. But if we zone read across and then I have a receiver over here that I can just bail to, if I make the right read on the play, that would be great. Because it's not a red throw. It's not I have to diagnose safety fell down in the box, corner roll back, they're playing 3 high. I gotta hit this route. It's like, nope. I'm gonna ball fake this thing across. I'm gonna run at that outside linebacker. If he runs at me, I'm dumping it over there. If he goes out to cover that receiver, I am turning up the field and sprinting. Like those kind of things. And you open up a bunch of compliments off of it. I think that helps quite a bit. Tez, I don't know why they're not giving him a chance. I really don't. He's a dynamic kid. They threw him in early and ran like an option package with him. And everybody kind of freaked out because it went well. God, I got my freaking shoulders up in my ears because I'm pissed. If you ever know I'm pissed, my shoulders do this. Walk around like that. Johnny, I don't think Cam lives here. I think he rents an apartment above here. That way he's got a short walk to work. David says tough to envision them making bowl game with that offensive line. Agree. Agree. One of the things I thought last week was to win all your home games. That got shot out the window real quick. It's pride in your work, man. Illinois is good. Illinois shouldn't hold you to 29 yards in the second half of offense. Come on. Because then when they know they can stop you with 6, they just roll back in coverage. Palmer can't beat 3 guys. Jesus. Brian's now off the bandwagon. He says, I don't see another W this season, Verz. I'm going to watch, cheer, and hope. And go ahead and put hope in one hand and crap in the other and tell me which hand fills up first. That's kind of gross. I wouldn't do that. That does not sound appealing. Beyond frustrating, at least our Islanders move on to the playoffs. Go GI. It's truth. The Mighty Islanders grand on. Congratulations to Coach Tomlin on a win. I employ a lot of Millard South kids, so they're all fired this week. They will not have jobs until the Islanders emerge victorious on Friday. Now there's a lot of shit talking going on right now, though. And I'm catching it from everybody. Matthew says, okay, fellas, everyone has an inside gap. Protect everyone. But coach, what if he goes outside? Yeah, pretty much. What happened? He moved. I don't know why. He did. He's inside gap coach. He moved. I don't know what to tell you. I've had that conversation as a coach. Like, all right, boys are going to do this. This is what we've game planned them to do. They may not do this. Is always afraid. I'm like, they may not do this. Be ready. Come off, plays run. Hey, dude, what happened? He wasn't there. Like, where'd he go? Where was he? Well, in the game plan, you say he's going to be here. He was here. Right there. I was like, so still in your cylinder. Yes. Okay. Why did we not just go this way? We had prepared for him to be there. And I was like, okay, just go that way. I'll give you his number. Just hit that guy. There have been games too where I just yelled the number at one of the kids. Just hit 55, please. Still telling you, if I could invent a machine with 2 cameras here, earpiece, then I just got a film thing, one of these phones, just sitting there watching the game. I'm like, all right, here we go. We're going to hit 62, and then we're going to hit 44. All right, here we go. Do this. If he goes inside, we're going to smack him. Ken says, hey, Verz, is it just me? But do the QBs seem gun shy? Afraid to get hit? I would be. I mean, man, you got to figure. You get about 5,000-6,000 hits on your ribs before someone break. I would be. I mean, look at Amart. He was still seeing ghosts at Kansas State. Still. He was afraid to let it rip when they beat Oklahoma. You watch some of those throws, that was how wide open Kansas State receivers were against Oklahoma. He was like lofting balls over the middle and still completing them. I would be. I'd be gun shy as all get out. John says the previous previous era isn't over. We still have scraps that Frost brought in. Some were highly ranked high school players, but they're still just high school players. Can't be fixed in 2 weeks. No. I ain't buying that one. Nope. I ain't buying that. You can fix it. You gotta buy it. You gotta do the work to fix it. Because I know they're getting called out on things. I know they are. You have to be better. And I would walk around and have all my GAs, like all the 8,000 people that work there. But hey, anybody that looks complacent with that, just write their number on that piece of paper. And then when this thing comes back around, they won't have a locker. Nah, ain't buying that one, Johnny. Funny guy Fred says, time is the NU Illinois game today? Freddie always with this one. Uh, David, man, I, David either is a world class typer or he has got some free time. Oh, John did not like that. John says, "You coach teenagers, you employ teenagers. You should try to raise a teenager. 2 years ago, I've given you one." Oh no, I'm good. I don't want that. But the ones I coach and the ones I get the opportunity to work with and hopefully give some positive influence in their life is I'm good with that. I'm good. I'm all teenagered out. I don't need spares. um, I'm trying to find. Okay, Cam. People sent stuff yesterday, and I cannot find them. Oh, here we go. This is from Cleet Camrath from Drunken Duncan. You ever been to Duncan? City kid. Watched two guys foot race in Duncan one time, 7 mile mark. No word of lag, greatest thing I've ever been a part of in my life. So, quick story. BT Dubs, Nebraska lost. So, we are at the 7 mile mark outside of Duncan, which is on the way to Columbus. And my dad and my family was there. These two guys are in the bar. It's a bar gas station. Great concept. I think they all should be that way. But when these guys start kind of yipping at each other, and it was funny. Those two like washed up old athletes thinking they still got it. So yeah, it designated like, hey, we're gonna foot race next week here. Mind you, this is a gravel parking lot. And so my dad and I are kind of laughing, and Jim, cousins, family, we're all kind of laughing. We're in Grand Island the next week when the race is supposed to go down, and my dad, we were doing yard work or something dumb, and he goes, "You want to go over to Duncan?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's go." So we load in the Suburban, we head over to Duncan. I mean, they're doing this like they got pennants, like lanes, and they got scaffold. They got guys taking bets who's going to win, and they got MC. I don't remember the names, but it was like Fast Freddie Jones in lane one and Tornado Tommy in lane two. And so we're watching this and they're booking this thing, and it was great. And they got this literal. There's a shotgun start. So this dude walks out with a shotgun and just pump, boom. So they take off. Okay. About midway through, can't remember who, but you hear this. Audibly heard the hamstring pop. Audibly. And I was like, oh, that is not good. Boom. Down he goes in a heap. So the other guy running thinks like, I got this. So he starts to hot dog it, right? He's going to run and pivot and backpedal the rest of the way home. He stepped in that gravel and went to turn. You just heard knee gone down in a heap. Nobody finished. The guy booking it is running around, and he's like, "No winner, no winner. The house wins. The house wins." He kept all their money. He didn't pay nobody. Greatest thing I've ever been a part of in my life. And I won 2 national championships, and I've coached on 4 high school ones. It was great. Still remember it to this day. It's so awesome. But anyway, back to cousin Cleet. He says, "How much talent can scheme want to overcome?" I'm talking about O-line and D-line. It seems we are getting beat at the point of attack on both sides of the ball. When you say you're just not talented enough, people laugh when I use the phrase "just dumb enough to be dangerous." Okay, if you are just dumb enough to be dangerous, that means you don't know your limitations. You don't know. People will tell you you have limitations, but you don't. Like, I don't, because guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go out and work everybody. Is it painful? Yes. Is it a way to live for eternity? No. But can you make it through 4 or 5 years of college with that? Yes, absolutely. Will more talent help? Yeah. But when you are less talented and more talent comes in, you say, this is neat. You got all these accolades. You have to physically pry this job from my hands. I can outwork you. You can out God given ability me, but I can outwork you. In a sense of scheme, yes, scheme can do that. You can out scheme people to the strengths of your team. right? Meaning if I have linemen that are great at inside zone, double team up, here we go. Perfect. If I have defensive linemen that are good in motion, meaning slanting, twisting, stunting, those kind of things, I can scheme that. At this level, you can still outwork people. I 100% believe it. When you get the perfect combination of talented kids that are hard workers and absolutely despise the feeling of losing, life is good. Life is real good. So those are the things. Have you read any of David's novels yet today? Car Trouble Cam's about to get on the
Yeah, I've leafed through them a little bit.
Okay.
Made it to chapter 2.
Matthew Smith says breakfast pizza and wings would have been good this morning. Yeah, I agree. Somebody's car broke down. Couldn't make any. I had like 7 or 8 of them waiting for guys to show up. No, I didn't. Cam texted me. I barely got up. I was like, that's good. Let's do this. Another thing that probably didn't keep me in the best, and I got about 5 minutes here. I got to send out a message to employees, so everybody hold tight. We'll try to follow up a touchdown Tommy and see if he's gonna. He was pissed that he didn't come on last week. He's like, this is ridiculous. I said, calm down. I said, I'll get you on there. I said, but you got kind of tuned last week. You told me. You said you had a lot of beers. He said, what was that matter? I said, we start at 8. He goes, oh, no, not making 8. Not doing 8 o'clock. He goes, I'll come on later. I said, okay. So we'll get good and hammered so then we can have some funny stories. Defensively, there were things, and they're even outside of the offensive line, that, or the defensive line, sorry, that were they're off like that. That was the phase of the game where I thought you really saw guys. Like I had questions for the first time in a long time. And maybe Bush tried to move it up and get a little more complex with some stuff, but there was a time I thought some guys were out of position. They did have a lot of blitzes or attacks, probably as I would like to call them. It's not necessarily a blitz, but it's like, hey, if you see this, take advantage of it by doing one of these 2 things. Garrett Nelson had a big sack in that game. We get to go out to his hometown, out to Scotts Bluff on Friday, continue to play football for another week, and hopefully a week after that, but we will see. But I don't know if Bush and them got real complex and stuff, or if it was just it wasn't registering and old habits came back. Like old habits will die hard. They just do. That stands the test of time. It's very true. It happens. But I was expecting the defense to really bow up in that game, especially on an off week, especially having the ability to prep for a week, an extra week. I was hoping the first off week to the next we would make progress and stride. I don't think it did, but also tip of cap to Illinois, because they take great pride in the simplicity of what they do. That is not complex, but they execute. They execute really well, really, really well. I would make a run, whatever happens, at their defense coordinator, because he did a good job. Okay, we're going to take a quick break here. I got to message my staff because hopefully they stay at work knowing that I'm not there at work. We'll be back. Just give me 2-3 minutes. And then we could still see Tommy Frazier here at around 9 o'clock. He will join the show. But hold tight. We'll be back here in a couple minutes. Thanks for joining us here on Husker Hangover. Welcome back in, everybody. Thank you so much for your patience. I apologize for just screaming into the microphone there. It's pretty loud. So David says, basically, was at the game, we just don't look the part. We don't look size. We don't look the athleticism. I didn't think their energy was super high, but again, not at the game. Novel 2 says, I think it also struck me were the kids not suited up, walking wearing Oakley blades and chains, acting cocky. To a man, each one of these kids was small. I don't know where the sense of entitlement comes from or why these kids think that they're king stuff. But my goodness, there's nothing I've seen from the program in the past 6 years that will lead me to believe that the kids will be walking around with that kind of arrogance. Um, I venture, just venture out. Like this is it's just the MO. Like they see some player that's real good wearing that kind of stuff and doing those kind of things, and they think that's what you do to be good. Who you pick, like who you follow, is who you will become. So they probably have somebody their pattern of behavior after. Um, the level of discipline that needs to come into the Nebraska football organization, and I'm not limiting it to the football team or the participants of the football team. I'm going to the top all the way down. It has to change their discipline standard and their expectation. Um, Anything worth a damn in my life has always been earned. And those are things that you have to go out and do. You have to earn things. You can go buy your 400, venture out to any youth baseball, softball, basketball, clinic, camp, tournament. These kids are MLB ready. Got all the swag, got all the gear, $800 glove, $700 bat to pop out the short, right? Never the person swinging the stick. Never their fault. Sun, the angle, this, that. The biggest overhaul at Nebraska is not X's and O's. It's discipline. It's, can I live in a disciplined manner? And can I change the way I view stuff? Can I earn the right? Now, did we have guys that were wearing Oakleys and have big gaudy chains? Yeah. The difference is that's a set of dudes. Like there's a set of bad mothers. I love them all to this day. Like family, still, till they put me in the grave. Earn the right to wear them. I mean, the dude 21 for Illinois, I got cut up, guns just out there, and like, you ain't, hey Trey, that's that. You remember when you did that against Purdue? You remember that? You ain't doing that today. Nah, ain't happening, Captain. Take a seat. It's my house now, right? But put in the work. Watched the game last night. Michigan guy doing an interview in like some designer shades, got Gucci shades on. Okay, now they're good, but they are good. It's attitudes, mindset. That's your culture. If you wonder Nebraska's culture, and I'm not saying this in a bad manner. I think it's evolving. Look at me. Look at my stylish shades and my chain and a bad dude. What have you done? What have you done to earn that? What have you done? You went and spent $600 on some shades that I guarantee you, if you got caught in the wrong spot and met the wrong fellas, $600 shades would be their $600 shades because you wouldn't have them no more. Yeah, I mean, I'm in with JB. I hope this is my buddy JB from Nuts and Bolts. If it is JB, let me know. I was on the radio and Sharpie was jabbing me. And so in good fun, I jabbed back. And it was interpreted the wrong way. And people were, oh, he said this, he said that. Number one, I'm just going back and forth with Gary because he's shooting shots at me. Number two, nothing I said was a lie. Number three, I never criticized anybody. If you know, you know. David says, shout out to all the fans. Still come to stadium and cheer the Huskers on, considering what they routinely see on the field. There are no better, and they're glutton for punishment. Um, I do think you have a discipline standard being established. Okay, I think you have. I think you have a leader right now that's and this is an odd thing for me. I'm good with the way it's going outside of this game because I think there's so much to fix. Much as what Scott inherited when he got here, I don't think anybody fully comprehended it. I don't think anybody comprehends what Mickey's interpreting or how hard it's going to be to break this. Like the rest of the way through, I would find whatever ex-military, some militant person to take over their lives. Sounds harsh, sounds aggressive. Football is a harsh and aggressive game. You have to live that way. Now, I'm not saying you walk into class and punch your teacher in the face. Don't do that. But I was perfectly fine with the 6 a.m. wake-up calls for these guys. Not practice. I think practicing at that time is dumb. I think absolutely asinine. I'm nailing the big words today, by the way. I haven't seen Damon in a while. Maybe they just feel those words aren't getting their use. 6 a.m. get up. Okay, now I know everybody's functioning. Or you go in and you set their schedules. You can do that. You have class. Everybody has a class at 8:30 a.m. You're getting up at 6. We will see you at breakfast. Okay? If you choose not to do that, you will sit the first half. If you do not play that much, no problem. You will be gone. We didn't have a lot of freedom or free time, which is what we all needed. We did not need free time. We did not. If you gave us free time, sometimes things happened. As we continue to evolve in this, I like what Mickey has done. So that discipline standard continues on. If they feel they need to find somebody else with that same level of discipline standard or a higher one, I'm good with that too, because that means you've assessed the problem. But right now, Mickey would be my leader in the clubhouse. For what he's taken over and what they have, again, not losing recruits in this. They lost the one kid out of their whole class. I think as you assess the roster, I've watched some film on some of the JUCO kids they've offered. Some of these JUCO kids will walk in and start. I know for some of us that pay attention or listen or watch the show, they ain't saying a whole bunch. But they will walk in and they're day one ready. They're ready to go. Good. That means I can honestly look at my roster and say, what are we terrible at? Okay. Boom, boom. Piece, 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 piece. How the rest of that shapes out, though, is your question with Mickey. What else comes with it? How does that work? Can you get something in your program that will allow you to stop giving up 50% of third downs? 50% on third down. Cannot happen. Absolutely 100% can. And it's just under 50. I think it was 7 to 15. But that's back-to-back weeks of that. You cannot live that way. You cannot succeed that way. You have to get off the field, especially with your limited numbers. You have to have viable backups at every position. Injuries are going to happen. Casey Thompson, we don't know. We don't know what happened. Or maybe we do now. If you got an injury report, hit me. But we don't know what happened. From what we watched, you feel confident in the backup? At any position. It's okay if people leave. It is. Find the ones that want to grind and stay. There should be some guys that never start again. You can all speculate and enter your number there. You can all do that. Our linebacking core shouldn't be as light as it is. It should not. Unfortunately, Heinrich has an ACL out the rest of the way, which sucks. But you should have viable, ready to go. Another one, Illinois' touchdowns. Klorvik got caught. It was an attempt at a pick. It wasn't a very good pick. Pick play, meaning the receiver came in and kind of screened him off when the running back was around that corner in a second anyway. That was something is off with the defense. The defense has to be better. Linebackers have to do better. You have to get off the field in third down. 50%. 50% of the time. Unacceptable. I mean, your questions arise, right? Hey, how do we time of possession, which isn't that big of a deal to me, but those kind of things. How does this go? What's this? What's that? Well, number one, if you want your offense to score, you got to get off the field. Like you cannot be there that long. Your defense will get worn down. It is just a fact. $20 unanswered to end the game. Here's my question for you guys today. Are you all right if Nebraska establishes a setup similar to what Bielema does? You know, Mike led off the show saying that would be he would have immense success here. Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think he has a desire to leave because he knows he can build that. He knows he can get all of that stuff done. He knows he can accomplish anything he wants to there. 7 of 15. Just under 50%. Nebraska on third down, 2 of 12. Like I wanted, as we went into this game, I wanted that off week. Like that off week was going to be great. It was going to be something that you know you were going to see. Boom. We made more progress. There's 50-50 things in games. One team's doing one thing, one team's doing another. You have to give Illinois their credit. But I did not think that Nebraska made an advance in that game. Like I was expecting the next step up the stairs, and it didn't happen. It didn't happen for me. Now Illinois was ready. Like Illinois' game plan was tight. Illinois' game plan was well executed. The tough part as you're starting to play a simple form, okay, is that now ask any of your friends that coach, and everybody knows somebody coaches at some level. Anybody knows somebody that coaches at any level, right? You say, well, we know they're going to line up in this. We know this is where they're weak. We know this is what they're going to do. blah, blah, blah. Then ask them when they coach against somebody that has variables. Well, we don't know. Sometimes when we get in this set, they line up in this, and sometimes we get in this set, the same set, they do this, this, and this. Right? It all moves around, and there's moving parts, people everywhere, and boom, boom, boom. Those are harder to game plan for because you have to take so much time and practice to develop that. Again, but the example back to the kid, like, well, coach, you didn't line up there. Yeah, he has the right to move. He can go wherever he'd like to go. You just have to make sure he doesn't hit our guy. So being in the stage of this we are, that has to now evolve. That was my like evolution. Like if we can become a little more complex with some stuff, we can hide some coverage, we can change some things, we can do this. That'd be a big step for me this week. May not win. I was on record. Tommy and I did our podcast 5115 from the Hale Varsity Club. We did it live on Monday. We'll have another live one coming up here down the road. I'll advertise it here on Husker Hangover and on my social media. That game plan to go against simple becomes very easy. And it's tough as a fan because you're watching like, oh, we are terrible. We suck. Trust your eyes. We don't suck. We're just playing a very simple style right now, and that style has to evolve. It has to get more complex. It has to be a problem for an offensive coordinator to game plan against. Time has to be used to prepare for a lot of things. A lot of things. You're not going to get players in overnight to change. This is the hand we're dealt. This is what we have to play with. And that's fine. Players also need to take accountability for this and bury themselves in film. Because you can find little ticks and little tendencies that people have. It's a two-way street. I can work as hard at this as I want. You go back to your guys, Kenny Malin will always come to mind. Kenny was 5'10", maybe 260 pounds on a great day, but was an all-conference guard. But what he did is he knew what the opponent was going to do. He knew he had great feet, and he was going to have to use them. And so I pair these things up, and he can say, okay, in second and six, they are likely to do this. So now I know I have to maybe be a little more aggressive with my steps this way. I can't get beat to this side. I have to do all these things, and you process through it. And you go. It's doable. But to do it, you have to do the work. Like the work has to be in it. The work has to be done. It seems simple and it seems silly to say, but all of those things go into it. Some guys aren't film rats. They're just naturally blessed with God-given ability. The big message of this is there's more than one way to get to the end game of a victory. Some guys aren't blessed with Zach Wiegert's athleticism. Some guys aren't blessed with Aaron Taylor's low built to the ground power and explosion. Some aren't blessed with Eric Anderson's sweet feet. But if I can find film and I can watch film and I can see things you do that you don't even know you do, or I can see things that a coordinator on every third and 7, third and 4 is going to send this blitz or something similar to it. Or maybe he's a second and 8 guy. Second and 8, he loves to blitz. Okay. We didn't have a great play, but second and 8, I know blitz is coming. So whatever we run, I get together with my partners and I say, hey, boys, I've seen in film this is going to happen. They are going to blitz either A or B gap. So be ready. Aggressive steps, get after it, let's go. That's how you counteract it. You don't have to be the freak. You can just use your brain and take the information available. People will talk all the time. Matthew brings up a great question. I hear a lot of fellow coaches talk about football IQ. Basically, the players struggle with thinking and reacting on their own when they're being taught as challenged. Thoughts on that? It's 100% true. It's 100% true. Because the way the game is taught at a young age is that we're going to win. We got to win this game. How are we going to win, coach? Well, Tommy, you go block that guy. Why do I got to block him, coach? Because I told you to. It's a shitty answer. It's the worst answer in the history of mankind. Why do I have to block him, coach? Well, Tommy, what we're trying to do is we're trying to create an angle here where we can kick this guy out. Our running back's going to run underneath that. If you go get that guy and he gets this guy, then there's a hole here. And now we're getting the ball to our running back who's going to see that. Now we've got a one-on-one matchup with the safety. So if you do your job, Tommy, and Billy does his job, and Johnny does his job, we're good. But conceptually, we have to run this through here. You can teach that at any age. But too many coaches at a youth level will say, because I told you so. Never say that phrase. Never say that phrase. Explain to them why. Make sure they know the why in the answer. Because this is true, Matthew. And I know the kids that play for us that have had teachers as coaches and daddy as coaches. The daddy ones, and I got one. I got two on the line. When I'm correcting them on what they're doing wrong, this is what I get. Blank stare. Not listening to a word I'm saying. Not one singular word. Because daddy, when he goes home, will tell him something different. Because daddy thinks he knows more. But daddy never taught him concept. Daddy never taught him scheme. The football IQ thing is 100%. It is 100% true. Youth coaches teach concept, scheme, put your ego away. Your 4U or 7U city championship, that's what you're hanging your belt on, bud. Get a different belt. Get out of coaching. But the ones that are good all have come up through the same system. The ones that are successful in high school, like if you look at your Class A high school teams that are winning, their coaches all coach scheme. They tell them, hey, man, we might have our 7th grade tackle football tournament. We might lose. We might. But when you get to be a senior and it's cool and you got colleges coming to talk to you, you can be way good because you know the scheme. It's very simple. But there's too many out there that want it about them. They want it about them and, oh, man, I coached them through this. Yeah, it's a hell of a season, 6th grade football. Nick Danzy, who I love to death, coached with me. He used to coach like little baseball. And he was like, what's a successful season to you? Did we master fundamentals? Did we understand scheme? And did they sign up next year? I'm like, that's it? He said, yeah, that's it. He said, you'd be amazed when we master those things, how many games we win. Because here's the thing, you can go through and you can win all this, and not everybody will handle pressure the same. Like Nebraska did not handle pressure well in this game. In one of the novels, said they didn't look excited to play. That's a personal thing. I don't know. I haven't been down to a game in probably 10 years. But you will have people that get in pressure situations that are good when pressure isn't there. At a regular season game, great. Let's go show out. We're going to do our thing. Boom, boom, boom. Away we go. Now you're in this big stage. Evidently, Mr. Big Stage, Tommy Frazier, has got a little late here today. He's kind of standing me up, pissing me off. He's got a Plinko shot board at his house. You ever seen one of them? Fantastic. But that's real. right? Teach me concept, teach me fundamentals, master those two things. And did I sign up again? Did I have fun enough to do this again? Or did I not want to do that because I don't want to be a part of it anymore? Shouldn't football IQ be into the coaching equation as well? Moose failed horribly on that part. You'll find that's from John. You'll find a lot of coaches have a very high football IQ, um, where that at times falls apart. Where that at times falls apart is that they don't know how to convey it. They don't know. Now you can evolve through this, and I'll give a benefit of a doubt here. Okay, with Dominic Raiola coming from the pro game, where those guys just know, like you've reached the penultimate of everything. You are the best of the best. Now, even up there, and talk to some of the guys that played in the NFL. They'll tell you guys slipped through the cracks. They'll tell you guys got there that shouldn't be there, but they had a relationship with somebody that got them, kept them on the path. They really do. But Donovan was teaching at a very high level to NFL guys. To come down and alter, you have to change your teaching style. Told you many times on the show, I came in, Malcolm, ultimate, like psychopath, like crazy person. Could not understand why they don't understand. If we do this, boom, boom, two things together, away we go. Scramble their brains. And I would just be rage filled because they couldn't understand it. And I had to be like, okay, I have to take this down to the most basic of basic. And it took us a little bit. It took about a year. Well, it took about half a year. And then it clicked. And then we went. We got the Clippers to 4-4, which they were partying. I'm like, I thought I was the worst coach ever. I was like, we are 4-4. Like, we suck. We are terrible. But then I looked at them, and they are 4-4, and they are ready to party. They are like, this is awesome. Do you know we won 4 games? I was like, yes, I am a part of it. I apologize for being a shitty coach. That's on me. The coach we're talking about, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened. Like, okay, different perspective. But now I got to work on your brains. This is not the way it should go. But that football mindset, that football IQ, I had to change how I taught it. Slow it down, back it up. Easy to me because I was crazy fortunate throughout my life. I was too fat to play football. My buddy Brad Kelly had to put a 10-pound weight in his pants to play. I had to cut 5 pounds. I was like, well, this is dumb. I don't want to do this. Played 1 year at Pizza Inn, GI, and I just waited for junior high. But in that, when I watched football with my father, hey, why did they do that? Boom, boom, boom. They did it because of this. They're setting up this, yada, yada, yada. That's how his brain fired. It was cool. It was real fun. Perfect example. Matthew Neal, Bill Callahan, high football IQ. High football IQ. Bad teacher. Adam True told me that when he was with the Raiders. He said, you will never meet anybody that knows more about the game of football than Bill Callahan. Not a very good teacher or leader. Because, the Raiders unraveled when he was their coach. Nebraska unraveled. What was one of the reasons Nebraska unraveled. But that mindset, that mentality, you can learn it. Again, watching film. I got lucky. I got to watch with my old man. Hey, Goose, is that you? Troy Ruge here comments, who, by the way, wicked pitcher back in the day in GI, if that's him. How long will it take to get a good line? You can get that. You can accomplish that in the offseason. Now, what's got to happen with the offensive line is their training has to change. However, their training isn't getting done. It isn't able to display their athleticism. Like, I do think you have some athletic kids. I don't think they've become bulky. I think they've become tight. Like hips are tight. I talked about ankles the other week. They're tight. Like those things have to be fixed. Those things have to be taken care of. Um, their off-season training regimen should be very explosive. It should be a lot of bounding, a lot of jumping, um, a lot of explosiveness. And, you're going to reach a top end like once you're repping out 500-600 pounds for 10 reps. You're probably good. I know that sounds weird to say out loud, but because most people are like, I'm never going to do that in my life. But you're dealing with mutants, like you're dealing with freaks, and they are still freaks. But the hips have to get loosened up if it's stepping over hurdles and under hurdles to where you get those muscles loosened up. Now, how am I teaching you conceptually to play this game? How does this fit into what we're doing? Okay. This is why we're doing it. This is what we have to get accomplished. 100%. We cannot fail at this. You can turn a line around in an off season. And again, fortunately, we played Illinois. I will use Illinois. We played Illinois out of the gate. Brett Bielema's first game. They were able, when they needed to run the ball. They understood leverage. They understood how their hips worked. They understood the scheme. They understood the concept. And when they had to, now that I think they won 21-20. It wasn't like they blew us out of the building, but first game, head coach, conference game, winner. That's one off season. They had one off season with that crew of same guys that weren't very good the year before. I think if Donovan really kind of goes out and reacts and go whoever you think is the best. Okay. And you probably got to stay out of the NFL because those dudes are just way good. Like 0.01% of society type of people. Find someone who you like to play or who you would like to play like. And just say, hey, can I come down and watch? No word of a lie, I'm probably going to go up to Illinois and as a coach and try to watch one of their football camps and watch how they do stuff because I like what they do. I was very fortunate and blessed to get to go down to O-line masterminds. You talk about flying a wall just in a world where you will never comprehend life. I'm in with like 20 NFL dudes and like all these top end college kids. And I just sat, I didn't say a word the whole time. I know, shocker. But I just watched and I learned and they have high level things. Okay. Lane Johnson, for you Eagle fans, was up there. Lane Johnson, awesome. Like awesome. And I was talking to a gentleman at a break. It was George Kittle's dad. Kittle's dad coached at OU. I think he played it. No, the owner of the facility played at K-State. Kittle's dad played it at Iowa. Maybe OU. I don't know. Forgot. But anyway, we're talking, and he says, he's trying to be super nice. He goes, so who are you? I was like, oh. I said, my name's Matt Vrzal. I said, I coach offensive line in Nebraska. I said, not at Nebraska, in Nebraska. I said, I played there in the 90s. And he kind of looked. He goes, you did? I go, oh, yeah. He goes, what's the single most valuable thing that you thought they did at Nebraska? I said, jump rope. So we jump roped all the time. It was awesome. But your feet were so quick and you're on your toes. I'm like, we were also fat. We had smashed our arches, so you had to learn how to get back up on your toes. And so Lane gets up on the stage and he's talking and he's da-da-da. And he goes, hey, he goes, there's one guy in this room that he will have things you guys will never have. I'm like, yeah, wonder who Lane Johnson's talking about. He goes, because Lane was talking about jumping rope. He said, if you want to know the importance of jumping rope, he goes, that guy, the weird guy that sits in the corner back there by himself, he goes, that guy knows. He goes, he played at Nebraska on their national championship teams. The whole room. The whole room turns and looks at me, and I was like, "How's it going, boys?" I'm like, "Good to see you." Lane Johnson took it to the extent that he put a slab of hardwood in his house. He got his family Bose no free ads, noise canceling headsets. So the family will be watching a movie. Everybody has on noise canceling headsets, and he's jumping rope for an entire movie. Like right now, my old ass, if I can make it 5 minutes, I think I'm in it. Like I'm in the man. That dude just jumped rope for 2 hours. Okay. Little simple things like that seem irrelevant. You don't want to do them, but when you do them, you got done. You're like, hey, I did that, and I know I got better. That's how quick it can turn around. But you go if you're Donovan and you say, hey, do I like what Sam Pittman does at Arkansas? I'm gonna go watch that. It's tough to go to like Georgia and Alabama because again, freaks. They got freaks down there. Total mutants of society, probably aliens. But you go pick little things. Like I took so much out of that conference that I was just lucky enough to go to. And I could take it from the high level and I can alter it down to the low level. But to know that the guys in the NFL like Lane Johnson are doing the same stuff you do, or they use the like way fancy terms to coach the same stuff. The game is not hard. It's how it's conveyed to the player to make them sure that they know they can be successful. Um, Dekloffs, my guy Justin says, how often do NFL O-line coaches succeed at the collegiate level? It seems that coaching at the pro level doesn't always translate to player development needed at the collegiate. A lot of truth in that. Um, those guys, the pools are so different, right? Your interaction with them and the dynamic of you're coaching people that make more money than you. So you're probably more in a bro role. Hey man, you make about 4 million bucks a year. I make about 500 grand. I've never played your position. I don't really know what you're going through, but I'm going to tell you what to do. And that guy's like, okay. How about this? If you can somehow get to that guy, whatever tool in your toolbox you need to get to this guy, if he moves, this is the rules, follow the rules. He moves, just be an athlete, go get him. Okay. So I come to college now. I can't be bro. I cannot be bro with you. We can't bro talks. I mean, I'll feel like you got some kind of issue. We can talk about that. But in coaching, in college, I'm teacher, judge, jury, executioner. Because I got you here. I liked what you do. Here's how you're going to do it. I'm adding to your toolbox. I'm adding to things you can use down the road if you go to the next level. You're going to listen to what I say. That's where that dynamic changes. I mean, Deck, you were down there in the 2000s, man. You saw them dudes out. They had no fear of any punishment. They was living life, right? Football has to consume you. Football has to be everything to you. Every decision you make for 6 out of 7 days, because you got to have one day to just unwind. Every decision you make for 6 out of 7 days has to be related to the game. If you want to be great. And that just to a couple people's points earlier, that's when you know you're committed and the turnaround happens fast. Okay. I'm committed to everything I can do to make me great at this game. That's what it is. Every waking minute of Mickey Joseph's day is what can I do to make Nebraska better? I don't know the assistant coaches well enough to think to know that way. I don't know the players well enough to know that. But I can watch them play, and I don't know if it consumes them. I don't know if it's everything. If it's everything in their day. It's the Bear Bryant story. Head in the puddle, kids' feet kicking. When winning is as important as your next breath, you'll win. Through that preparation, all those things you go through, I know for a fact I can eliminate any doubt in your mind. I can eliminate you second guessing anything. If they did come out of the tunnel and they weren't energetic and they weren't hyped up with a chance to play at home and beat the number 17 team in the country, I don't know if it consumes you. I don't know if it's your every waking minute. But I do know if I set up a structure where you're going to be up every day at 6 and you're going to come down here and eat breakfast, and then you're going to go to class until 2, and we're going to start meeting at 3, and we're going to practice at 3:30. For those hours, you're thinking about it because you know you got to get your stuff done. Because then at this time, you're mine. And if I can get you to do that during that period, it's a start. Then if you go out and say, "Man, I had a great practice yesterday. I did real good." Maybe if I pour in a little bit more, I'm gonna get better. So now, 6 a.m. wake up, breakfast, class, meetings, practice. I got a lot of my homework done already. I'm gonna go get a little more study in. I'm gonna go run into the weight room and work on my footwork. Easy. You need a line in the ground. You need a crack in the cement to work on your footwork. To where those steps you have to take, 6-inch step, becomes second nature. It doesn't have to be thought about. It doesn't have to be discussed. Hey, coach, you want to blow your coach's mind for parents of kids at home that play football? Get your kid into film and have him say, all I want you to do is go ask your coach one question every day about something you saw on film and see how that affects your coach and your playing time. Hey, coach, do you know on 3rd down and more than 7, they run an outside linebacker blitz 60% of the time? Here's the thing, too. With some of the services out there, it'll sort all that for you. So you ain't even got to work. Like us old folks that are on the chat here, we got to go get the freaking VHS tape out. You know, wear that baby out. Legal pad, 3rd and 7, OLB, blitz, strong. Okay. 3rd and 8, OLB, blitz, weak. You had to physically do it. It's terrible. But have your young player in any sport, because the film is all there. Hey, coach, did you see this? Coach would be like, what? Did you just say? You're watching film? Yeah, I watch it every night. Try to help the team. Try to get better. You find all those things out. It's all there. Every coach everywhere has a tell. Everywhere, every coach has a tell. We're off site, but Doc, I don't have my whiteboard. I'd bust that thing out. I love the whiteboard. Caleb asked, don't know if you already covered this. Somebody asked earlier, and I haven't. The talk from Mickey for head coach is over now, correct? No. I don't think so. There's still games left to be played. There's still an impression to be made. The big thing through the rest of this that I don't want to happen is I don't want leak sources. We can go back to the scumbag Steve Peterson times, and Houston Nutt was going to be up here, and we flew the PJ down, and when the PJ got back, it was empty. I don't need that. I don't need it. Just keep it in house. Tell your search firm to shut up. Don't talk to nobody. Pay them extra. Whatever. It's a tough statement to me because in that you're basing some of this estimation or talk on it about Mick got dealt a rough hand. He's trying to play the hell out of that hand. But you've got to, I don't know, you got to see how it plays out. I guess the easiest way for me to say this to people is, what do you envision the rebuild to be? Okay. Because anybody, nice. I'll get to Mike. Are you okay? Okay. Because you're going to get into a money game here pretty quick. Okay. To preface this, I want Mickey Joseph as the head coach. Okay. But I'm man enough to sit here and discuss it. Here's your thing. If it's not Mickey, you have to keep him involved here, because what he's doing, people in coaching know, is not easy. He may catch the eye of someone that they may come a calling. Be that a Sun Belt, be that a MAC, be that a smaller Power 5. Okay, that's real. And as long as you're okay with him going, and then the players that are tied to him going, that has to be thought of. Okay, that has to be a real discussion. If you bring somebody else in and Mickey has an opportunity to go be a head coach somewhere, which he may want to do, or he may just want to stay at Nebraska, I don't know that answer. But now your rebuild is going to be with a further gutted roster that he's going to, that person is going to have to rebuild. Okay. In my perfect world, Mickey's the head coach. I think he's a very smart guy. I've loved the way he's represented Nebraska. They did not play very well Saturday, so I understand where this is coming from. But in that scheme, says, Mickey, you're the CEO. You're closing the deal with the recruits, which you got both the Rayola boys on campus, which is awesome. Maybe Weasel back in there. Here's big numbers for an OC and a DC. Let the OC and the DC fill their staff however they want. If they want to keep people, let them keep them. If they don't, they don't. Okay? We only ask or strongly recommend that they have ties to Texas, Florida, Pennsylvania, and the Rust Belt, somewhere in the Rust Belt. Okay? We will angle down into Arizona if we need to. Okay, Mickey, you're Arizona. The rest of you are this way. California, all that stuff, keep it. Shoo. Stay out there. Okay? So this is our recruiting bed. Your OC and your DC need to have tight. You got Arizona, Mickey. Everybody else is this way. Okay? It's the Dabo Sweeney model. Now you start to build. And if you got some dudes, got some cachet, and some dudes that are teachers, that'd probably be a stipulation I throw in there. Teacher. Make sure these guys are teachers, and we're not getting, way out of control with things, talking over their heads. Strength and conditioning probably needs to have some evaluation, because what they're doing isn't producing what we're seeing other teams have. We didn't have anybody look like 21 that plays defense for us in the secondary. That guy was explosive, jacked, and could move. Mike says, my kid at UNL is up before 6 a.m. and participates in Warfighter. I'm guessing that's physical training. What's Warfighter? But that sounds cool. Yeah. I mean, early bird catches the worm and all that stuff. I was never a huge believer in it. I struggle with it at times, especially this time of the year. We've been 10 games in, and now I'm on to playoffs and business and life, but you figure it out. 6 a.m. to me now becomes 7. So it goes. On to the next. Nebraska moves on. A pain in their ass, or pain in our ass, coming into town, Minnesota. PJ Fleck will be rowing the boat, pissing every Nebraska fan everywhere off. I've never met a group that, no, that's not true. we always hated other coaches too, but man, people hate him. I mean, they do not like that guy. He's brash. He's confident. It's not really going that well for the Ghosts this year, but this is who is next. They will take many a cue from what Illinois did. So if Nebraska can get everything bumped up on that, it will be huge. You're going to have to cover a lot of stuff. You just got to shore things up. Like, you can't have backs out of backfield running wide open twice in a game. And this is coming from a guy who coached on a team that happened to. My guy JB, who I was looking for earlier, who then never responded again. So maybe that was my buddy JB. His son got us 3 times in one game, 4 touchdowns on 2 of the same play. So it's hard, but you've got to make adjustments, and you've got to get things ready to roll, because you have to have a short-term memory. You have to be a relief pitcher. You have to be a defensive back. Saturday went bad, very bad. Move on, get your stuff done, and forget about it. You've got games left to play. You've got games left to win. You did yourself no favors by laying an egg in that game. So now you have to now you see right on cue. Now you have to get yourself, you have to pick yourself back up. And according to some, we need to ban sunglasses, we need to ban Oakley blades and chains. I'm in. Or do this. Put on an earn them factor. What did you do to earn them Oakley blades? You have the right to wear those on my sideline. That'd be awesome if Mickey said that. You don't have the right to wear those on my sideline and act in that manner on my sideline. That'd be awesome. That would be sweet. You just came out with a list of rules. Here's the things you got to earn. Jumping up and down, waving a towel for a kickoff. Wearing these things. Doing this. Nebraska's in desperate need of discipline. Mental, physical, all of it. It's where we are. It's been run loose since the Riley era. Organizations that are run well are run borderline militant, because you have a group of people that in this phase in their life, they're prone to make very, very bad decisions. Very bad. That is what it is. Nothing is going to be perfect, but if you can instill a discipline setup and a structure they have to fall into, or they don't get to do those things. Here's the deal. Us as redshirt freshmen, we sat in the stands. We didn't even get to go on the sideline. And when one dumbass asked, like, why can't we go down there? And they straight up, coach told him straight up, you have not earned the right to stand on our sideline. I was like, whoa, this is awesome. Okay. So then now you're pissed. I'm going to show that old man. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go, and I'm going to suiting up. Can't tell me I didn't earn the right. I'm here. Yeah, he just did. Said it to your face right in front of all of us. We saw it. He said it right to you. You didn't know what to do. You put your head down. You looked at the ground. Tough guy. But you earned the right for things. Nebraska's got to be, hey, by the way, clear the rest of that sumbitch out too. Too many people down there. Too many people. You ain't earned it. Yeah, you cut a big fat check. Go sit in your fancy box. Beat it. You're in the way. We got to worry about football. We ain't got to worry about you, your family. That's just me being bitter curmudgeon. But make it that way. Former players stand on the corner. Don't act crazy. Don't talk to the kids. They got other stuff to worry about. They don't need to dab you up. You're old. You had your chance to do this. You did it. Stop trying to take a picture with them too. It's weird. That's my curmudgeon list for the day. All right. So we did have to move off site here. I do have to hustle back and get over to Paisans to make sure the 2 kids, both high school age, aren't burning the place down. Thank you guys so much for joining us. John, we'll get you out of here on John's comment. Fleck is the #1 punchable faces in the Big Ten coaches. Barron's is a close second. I'd say Brian over Kirk. I don't mind Kirk. Brian's got a punchable face. On to Minnesota. I will secure guests next week and make sure the boys don't have too much fun on Saturday. But we will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for having no deck. I'm not giving Beelum on my workout. Beelum was going to Beelum, man. He's going to do his thing. Thank you guys for joining us. We will see you next week. I appreciate it. I hope you have a great Sunday. We'll talk to you again next week.